we're going to be in the kitchen most of the time. And they were even like, oh, you guys are going to be in the kitchen? We're like, yeah, that's where most of our work happens. The end product, just the actual mixing, it's the last little, 6%. The other 94% is, concepting out a drink and trying to create ingredients and infusions and garnishes and trying to elevate the cocktail to a different level.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Network and Bartender Spirits Awards. I have Kate here with me, one of the leading mixologists and bartenders in America, and we're going to chat about, what's her process of creating cocktails. Kate, thanks for joining me here.
It's nice to be here. Thank
Super.
You very much.
Let's walk over, how you get inspiration, where you take that, and what's your process of designing a cocktail?
I personally take a little bit of a different approach when designing cocktails. I know a lot of people reach into their background, their stories, their experiences. For me, cocktails aren't about me. I don't need to be seen. I don't want people to see my history. I look for nostalgia and things that I can make connections so the guest feels seen. Mm-hmm. So I usually look into pop culture, music trends, old movies, things you ate as a kid, things that will strike a memory where the guest feels that I've connected with them in some special level. Cocktails for me aren't about being seen. It's not about my ego. It's not about who I am and everyone recognizing these unique things about me. I want the guest to feel that I've found something about them and that I've connected to them and I've tuned into a memory that they, kind of had buried. Sure. So for me, it's about, really exploring nostalgia and things that people connect with and being empathetic and trying to find something that might make my guest feel that I've looked into their lives more than they've realized.
And then you also have to connect the bar concept and the menu and so on, right? So
yes.
How do you connect that? Let's say, you have to make sure that a modern bar with a nostalgia drink now has to match up.
Yeah, for me, I don't bartend from a place of pretension. I don't care really much about anything except for being accessible to people. I want drinking to be fun and I want it to be not so serious, and I don't want people to feel like they've had to dress a certain way or they've had to act a certain way or they don't belong in a place. There's room for everyone in our bar. Sure. And we want people to make sure that they understand that we've tried to create something special just for them, that we're relating to people. So I don't really love a whole lot of strict concept bars. The main rules in our bar is just respect people. I don't care how you dress and I don't care, what you came in for. And if you like, whiskey colas, we're going to give you the best whiskey cola you've ever had. We have a whiskey cola on draft that's smoked and we use hickory smoke and, we make our own cola syrup. We just try and make sure that it's okay if you drink what you drink. Yeah. We just want to give you the best version of that drink you've ever had.
Understood. What about, the trends, right? So we're obviously seeing tequilas and mezcals, but are you seeing that translated into more cocktail sales and more offerings? So talk to me about 3 or 4 trends that you're so bullish on in the next 12 months that people can start mingling with.
I think you have to be careful about trends. You can fall into a pitfall of doing something kitschy that doesn't actually make a really good drink. And the most important thing is to make really good drinks. RTDs are trending hard. Vodka has held the leading selling category in the spirits world since 1978, I think. And they anticipate that in the next 3 years, RTDs could take over vodka as the leading selling category. And I think that's something to keep an eye on. The unfortunate thing is RTDs are and are not done well. And I like seeing bartenders making RTDs and people that have mixing knowledge. A lot of the RTDs that I've had that come from larger companies kind of fall flat a little bit because they're not really used to working with ingredients. People, when you put fresh lemon or lime juice in a can, it gets really gross. And understanding the science behind the ingredients that you're working with is really important. As for trends, I think things come full circle. When the quote-unquote mixology stage started, the trend of fresh this and fresh that, and it was all pre-prohibition cocktails and all classics and bringing back all of these old things, which is kind of funny because, back then, there were bars that didn't have refrigeration and they didn't have a lot of fresh juices. So it's kind of an oxymoron, and you know, we batch things now. I think batch drinks are smart. I think they're cost effective. The only thing that we don't batch is fresh citrus juice. But I think it's amusing because a lot of people, well, I want mine done fresh, and it's kind of a little misnomer. There's not a lot of bars that are juicing mangoes, right? We're not juicing, you know, papayas back there. No one's breaking down passion fruits except for, you know, in certain markets. So I think it's more about understanding the ingredients that you're working with, understanding how things work, understanding how things mix, and not worrying so much about the trends as much as trying to focus on making really good, solid cocktails for people. Spirits-wise, you know, I do think that vodka is kind of falling to the wayside. You know, gin and agave are my two preferred spirits categories, and I like to see a lot more gin cocktails on menus, and you know, mezcal obviously is kind of taking over, which is great. I would love for people to pay attention to sustainability, to production methods, to impact on farmland and things like that, and I hope that more people are starting to pay attention to how a product is made instead of just how it tastes.
True. Do you think bartenders are listening to those kind of stories more?
Oh yeah, I know bartenders are. I don't know as much about consumers yet.
True.
But the more the bartenders focus on that, then the more the consumers get to taste those kinds of products. I think, you know, the days of over manipulating agave spirits to cater to the American palate, luckily is starting to follow to the wayside, where, you know, Americans used to want tequila that tasted like vodka, and now they want mezcal and things that have character. So we're kind of like circling back to how things used to be produced. And people are looking for tequila producers that don't use diffusers, and, you know, that use ovens instead of autoclaves, and that aren't, you know, chemically manipulating and adding caramel coloring. And I think those things are starting to catch on a little bit more. And my hope is that the trend away from who the celebrity backing the agave is to who the company backing the farmers is gravitates to that.
That's good. One question on, you know, your journey, right? You know, you've done this amazing show, Drinks Master, on Netflix. So let's walk about how you ended up, which I call serendipity, right? Maybe there must be hard work and then luck a little bit. So walk me over your story of how that happened, and then maybe what was the process like? A little bit, give us a little storytelling, you know, on that journey.
I think it was a little bit different for me. I think there was an application process for Drink Masters that kind of was circulating around. I did not reach out to them. I didn't fill out an application. They contacted me and asked if I would participate, and I was a little reluctant at first. I haven't competed in a long time. I own my own bar. I kind of got past that point.
True, yeah.
But I live in a small market, and I really wanted to shine the light on how much bartenders are more like chefs as opposed to what people kind of think happens. People don't realize how much prep is involved.
True.
Even when we were filming the show, you know, they were like, well, when are you guys going to go to the bar? And you just make it in a couple minutes. And we're like, oh no, we're going to be in the kitchen most of the time. And they were even like, oh, you guys are going to be in the kitchen? We're like, yeah, that's where most of our work happens. The end product, just the actual mixing, it's the last little, you know, 6%. The other 94% is, you know, concepting out a drink and trying to create ingredients and infusions and garnishes and trying to elevate the cocktail to a different level. So, you know, it was a great experience. I was glad that we were able to highlight really how we align more as chefs than we do, you know, and most people think it's just, you know, we pour a couple things in a glass. And that was a really exciting aspect of it. The filming was long and difficult.
How many hours in a day, for example?
In the beginning, you know, we could do 12 to 14-hour days.
Wow.
Towards the end, you know, we got more efficient and less people. So
Less
there was
retakes.
there's less people to judge.
Yeah.
So
true.
it didn't take as long for us. But yeah, it's you know, it's a pressure cooker of environment.
So it was true competition, right?
It's a true competition.
Nice.
We don't get any more time than you see on TV.
Wow.
It is you work up into the last seconds. I had a lot of people like, oh, you can't make a drink in 90 minutes, and I'm like, not from concept and out. Like, you know.
And those kind of situations are like high pressure, situations, and you know that, I mean, normally you are competing with yourself, and you want to make sure that you don't want to lose just because of your own gut, right?
Yeah.
So how do you normally calm yourself? Because obviously it's like chef, you don't want to make mistake while making a drink.
Yeah. I think I personally know that I work well under pressure. I tend to just tune things out and stay in my own lane and do my own thing, which works really well, for that type of competition. I've done a lot of competitions in my past, so I was pretty comfortable. I did Bar Rescue and a couple other shows, so the cameras didn't bother me.
Got it.
I
did
just
you have
them.
expectations that maybe more opportunities will come, or you were just in the process of just filming, enjoying, and then maybe other things started coming?
No, I was just there to film and enjoy. I mean, we all did the show hoping that it would open more doors. But I already have a bar.
True.
And we won Best New American Cocktail Bar twice before Drink Masters. Nice. And we have done a lot of really cool things prior to that. So I feel like it was really more of a challenge to myself to see if I could still hang.
Nice. What kind of changes have you made to the bar, or how have you added your new Kate, new resume, new skills, new exposure, new whatever? Same?
No.
Nice.
No. Drink Masters was a great experience, and we obviously had an influx in sales and people wanting to come in and see us. But we didn't change anything about our program.
Very nice.
Our program is what it is, and there was nothing that I would have wanted to change because of the show. We don't do a lot of like caviar and things like that, because they're those types of drinks. We have a 175 seat bar.
Yeah.
My bar is massive. Yeah. There's no way we could do those types of drinks, and
it should be fast moving bar.
Well, it's not just that. It's just they're the ROI. You could never really produce those types of drinks and not charge $35 a drink.
True.
You're doing these big presentations, and it's a little bit different than what we do every day behind the bar.
That's true. On the career, right? A lot of bartenders out there would love to hear from you on how you will still continue from here, let's say, right? What are the next things that you would learn as far as skill goes, or you would aim at, or you can do some other gigs which can add value to your current bartending jobs?
We do a lot of events and pop-ups and collaborations with other bars, mm-hmm. which keeps you, kind of learning and challenging yourself. And I think travel is the best thing that bartenders can do for themselves. Mm-hmm. And international travel is really something that I think a lot of people underestimate the impact of, how it changes your perception on the world, humanity, culture, drinks. I've been very, very blessed in my career. I've gotten to, travel the cocktail scene in places like Russia and Dubai, where drinking cultures are very, very different. And just being able to expand your horizons and think outside of your own world, I think elevates who you are as a bartender in a different way than just reading books or looking on Instagram and things of that nature. So I tell people, travel as much as you can. Experience everything that you can possibly do, and then try and figure out a way to incorporate that into how you show people the world through your drinks.
Any book recommendations you have which was good for learning?
I think The Liquid Intelligence is, Dave Arnold is a genius, and he did a great job. Jeffrey Morgenthaler's The Bar Book is a great place to start, and there's a new book, and I can't remember the author, that just came out, called Round Building, for actual physical tactical bartending and how to build rounds and how to work efficiently in the well. I don't think anyone's really written a cohesive manual on that, and there's a new book that's out that I think is phenomenal, and I bought for all my bartenders.